Your objective for lesson 12 is I will apply the distributive property and the fact 9 equals 10 minus 1 as a strategy to multiply. They have 9 equals 10 minus 1. That is the same thing as 10 minus 1 equals 9. So we're going to be working with that fact, and we're also going to be working with the distributive property that we have worked on back in Module 1 and that we've worked on in this module as well. Okay. Does 8 times 9 show 8 units of 9 or 9 units of 8? I want you to write that answer on your board. So you're going to be writing 8 units of 9 or 9 units of 8 to tell me what 8 times 9 shows. Push pause to do this. So 8 times 9 is 8 units of 9 because I want you to think of the word units as groups, and we have 8 units or 8 groups of 9. So what multiplication fact would represent 9 units of 8? I want you to write that multiplication fact or multiplication equation on your board. We're just not going to write down what it equals. So what multiplication fact represents 9 units of 8? Write that on your board and push pause. 9 units of 8 is 9 times 8. So we use the commutative property right here because at first we had 8 times 9 and then we switched it around to 9 times 8. So we're going to be working with this fact, 9 times 8, on this first problem. Sometimes we can't use the commutative property because we don't know the product of either fact. Let's look at how we can use a tens fact to help solve a nines fact when that happens. What's easier to solve, 9 times 8 or 10 times 8? I'm excited for this lesson because we're going to be working a lot with our nines, and I know that we haven't practiced a lot on our nines facts. I know that there are some of you that know your nines facts and some of us don't. But I love this lesson because it really gives you a good strategy to use whenever you're working with nines facts. And that strategy is using your tens. And every one of us in this class know how to skip count by tens. So it's going to be a really good thing that you learn this strategy and you use it whenever you're working with nines. So how many 8s are in 10 times 8? I want you to write that number on your board. How many 8s are in 10 times 8? There are 10 8s in 10 times 8 because that 10 in the equation stands for how many groups. So I want you to draw a tape diagram that shows 10 times 8, and I want you to push pause when you do that. This is what I was looking for. I've got 10 sections or 10 groups on the tape diagram, and there are 8 in each section. I want you to keep that on your board. Don't erase it. Okay, so my next question is how many 8s are in 9 times 8? So in 9 times 8, we have 9 8s. So whenever you're thinking of a multiplication equation with 9s, I want you to just think of 10s. And when we have 10 8s, and we're thinking back to 9 times 8, that's just one more group of 8 than it was with 9 times 8. So if I were to show my tape diagram like these right here on the screen, the first one shows 10 groups of 8, and that showed us 10 times 8. And the second one shows us 9 groups of 8, and that shows us 9 times 8. So you can visually see that these two equations are similar. You're just taking one 8 away, or you're adding an 8. So 9 eighths is equal to 10 eighths, just take away 1 8. And that's what you see right here in this equation. Okay, so we've got 9 times 8. It is equal to 10 times 8, taking away 1 times 8. Okay, so we're going to rewrite that equation using the products of 10 times 8 and 1 times 8. So you're going to keep the 9 times 8, but this time instead of it equaling 10 times 8 minus 1 times 8, I want to know what is the product of 10 times 8, and I want to know what is the product of 1 times 8. So the first thing you're going to put on your board is going to be this, because we're going to keep that. Because we're still working with our 9 times 8 fact, we're just using our tens to help us solve it. So on your board, solve 10 times 8 and solve 1 times 8, and write that in your equation right here next to 9 times 8. Push pause to do that. So 10 times 8 was 80, and 1 times 8 was 8. So we have 9 times 8 is equal to 80 minus 8. So now we just have to figure out what is the answer to 9 times 8. So we still have our 9 times 8 equals. So all we have to do now is figure out what was 80, take away 8. So I want you to figure that out. Push pause if you need to. And then I want you to write that on your board. So I was looking for 9 times 8 was 72. So all in all we did was take our 9 times 8, change it to 10 times 8, and then whenever you solved that, you took an 8 away from it, and that gave us the answer. So really think about whenever you're working with your nines, how you can use the tens facts to help you with it. So how did we use the tens fact to solve a nines fact? Well, all we did was change our 9 times 8 to a 10 times 8, so that was using our tens fact. One way that we've learned this before, using the distributive property, was taking 9 times 8 and then breaking up our 9 eighths into 5 eighths and 4 eighths, because we would break up our 9 into a 5 and a 4, because we used our fives facts to help us solve things easier. But why do you think it worked well to subtract this time instead? I want you to think about that. Why did it work well to subtract this time instead? In my opinion, it works well to subtract this time instead because we are working with one fact, the tens fact, and then just taking one away from it instead of having to do 5 eighths and 4 eighths and find the multiplication equation and solve those together. We were just using our tens fact, and that is easier for us to use because we all know how to skip count by tens, and then you just take one away from it. So it doesn't involve as many steps as breaking up your 9 eighths into 5 eighths and 4 eighths, and we can use our tens facts pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to try this again. Our main problem is 9 times 7, but we're going to think of it as 10 times 7. So on your board, I want you to write 9 times 7 is equal to, and then I want you to leave it blank. And then we're going to use the steps that we just did. 9 times 7 is equal to 10 times 7. So what does 10 times 7 equal? I want you to write that next to your equal sign. What does 10 times 7 equal? And you should be writing 70. Okay, but 9 times 7 is not 70. So what is it that we need to take away from 70 that will tell us what 9 times 7 is? And at first we had 9 sevens, which remember is 9 groups of 7. And then we have 10 sevens, which is 10 groups of 7. So what changed from here to here is that we added a group of 7. So now down here, to take back what we did, all we have to do is take a 7 away from that, and that's going to tell us what 9 times 7 is. So 9 times 7 is equal to 70 minus 7. So what is 70 minus 7? Write that on your board. So 70 minus 7 is 63. So all in all, the answer to 9 times 7 was 63. I want you to come over here on the next one for 9 times 6, and we're changing it to 10 times 6. So the first thing that we're writing is 9 times 6 is equal to blank. And you're asking yourself right now, 10 times 6 is what? So write that on your board. 10 times 6 is 60. So what do we need to do to 60 to figure out what 9 times 6 is? Remember, we added a group of 6 to make it 10 times 6. So to undo that, We need to take 6 away, and that's going to tell us what 9 times 6 is equal to. So I want you to take 6 away from 60 to figure out the answer to 9 times 6. So 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, I need you to get out your problem set and have that ready. Push pause if you need to. Okay, this problem set's 3 pages long, so we're going to work through it a page at a time. This first page we didn't do in the concept development because it's a kind of a review. We're not using our tens facts on this page. We're just going back to the distributive property where you break apart one fact and you have to add those together. So this is just a review of what we've done before. I'm going to do this first one with you, and then I'm going to let you work on the rest of them on this page independently. So our first one, we need to know what it says for number 1. It says each cube has a value of 9, so find the value of each row, and then add the rows to find the total. So right here, each one of these cubes has a value of 9. All in all, we're trying to find out what 6 times 9 is. Right here, they have 5 cubes, and right here, they have 1 cube. So they're taking us back right now to how we used to use our 5s to help us solve things. We know that 5 times 9 is 45, so that's already done for you. So now we just need to figure out what is 1 times 9. So I want you to write that on your paper right here in this blank. And we know that 1 times 9 is 9. So now we're going to move down here to this box. This is where they take the equation and they break it up into the steps that we're solving to figure out the final answer to 6 times 9. So we started with 6 times 9 and we broke it up into 5 plus 1 times 9 because we broke our 6 into a 5 and a 1. So now we have to take this 5 and 1 and we have to multiply it by 9. That's where we get this 5 times 9 and where we get this 1 times 9. We knew from up here at the top that 5 times 9 was equal to 45. We had to find what 1 times 9 was, and from right up there at the top we knew that it was 9. So now to figure out what 6 times 9 is altogether, all we have to do is take our 45 plus our 9 and add those together, and that will give us the product for 6 times 9. So I want you to add that together, write your product here, and also come up here to where it says 6 times 9 and write your product there as well. Push pause to do that. So 45 plus 9 gives me 54. So I've got 54 right here. So 6 times 9 is equal to 54. I want you to come over here to B, and I want you to complete B, and I want you to go down and complete C and D as well. I want you to push pause when you're doing that, and once you're finished, push play so you can check your answer. Okay, on B, we are trying to solve 7 times 9. I see right here that we've got 5 9s and we've got 2 9s. So we're still working with our 5s fact. So this 5 times 9 is still here and it's still equal to 45. Right here I've got 2 cubes. So this first number is going to be 2. We know that each cube is worth 9. So we know it's times 9. So 2 times 9 is 18. So going down here to the box that has the steps in it, 7 times 9 is equal to 5 plus what times 9? So you're asking yourself, they broke this 7 into a 5 and a what? And from our picture right here, I know it's a 5 and a 2. Now we have to take this 5 and 2 and multiply them by 9. We've got 5 plus 9 plus 2 times 9. We know that 5 times 9 is 45, and we know that 2 times 9 right here is 18. So now you had to add 45 and 18, and 45 plus 18 is 63, which you needed to write right here, and you also needed to come up here to the top and write 63 as well. Okay, moving on to C for 8 times 9. We've got 5 eighths first, and then we've got 3 eighths because 5 and 3 or I'm sorry, we have 5 9s and we have 3 9s because 5 and 3 make 8. So we know from A and B that 5 times 9 was 45, so you should have put 45 right here. I know from this picture that I have 1, 2, 3 cubes, so that's going to be 3 times 9. And I know that 3 times 9 is 27. Moving down here, that has the box with the steps in it. 8 times 9 was broken into 5 plus 3 times 9. 5 times 9, adding 3 times 9. And I know that 5 times 9 is 45. I know that 3 times 9 is 27. So when I add 45 and 27 together, I get 72. So over here at the top, 8 times 9 is 72. Okay, moving on to 9 times 9. I've got 5 9s and I've got 4 9s. 5 times 9 is 45. I've got 4 times 9, and that's 36. So all in all, we have 9 times 9 was 5 plus 4, multiplying by 9. So 5 times 9 and 4 times 9 is what we broke it apart into. And 5 times 9 is 45, and 4 times 9 is 36. So when I add 45 and 36 together, I get 81. So 9 times 9 is equal to 81. I need to turn to the next page of the problem set. This says find the total value of the shaded blocks. So on this page, we are going to be working on our tens facts, using our tens facts to help us solve our nines facts. So if I have 9 times 6, you see in this tape diagram that the shaded blocks, there are 9. And then this one block right here that is not shaded is where they added one more to where I have a total of 10 blocks. So this shows right here that we have 9 6s. They just changed it to 10 6s, and then we'll have to take 1 6 away from that because like we did in the concept development, when we add a 6 to it, we have to take it back away in order to find the answer. So you need to be finding out right now how much is 10 6s, which is the same thing as 10 times 6. And I want you to write that right here in this blank on your paper. 10 6s. How much is that? Okay, so we have 60. So since we added a 10, or I'm sorry, we added a 6 to 9 6s, we've got to take one away. So we have to do 60 minus 6, and that will give us what 9 6s really is. So I want you to figure out what is 60 take away 6, and I want you to write that right here on your problem set. So 60 take away 6 is 54. So the answer to 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, I want you to move over here to B. We've got 9 times 7. So on this tape diagram in the shaded sections, you see 9 7s. And this white box right here just shows that they added one more 7. So we've got 9 7s is equal to 10 7s. And then we'll have to take that 1 7 away once we've figured it out. So right here on this part of your problem set, I want you to write down how much is 10 7s. So I know that 10 7s is 70. Now I've got to take a 7 away from that to figure out the answer to 9 7s. So I know that 70 minus 7 is equal to 63. So my answer to 9 times 7 is 63. On your paper, I want you to go ahead and complete C and D, and then do not start number 3 yet until you've checked your answers for C and D and you know what you need to do for number 3. So push pause to complete C and D. Okay, we're looking for 9 times 8. We've got 9 8s is equal to 10 8s. Take away 1 8. So I know that 10 8s is 80. I need to take an 8 away from that, and 80 minus 8 is 72. So 9 times 8 is 72. Now I've got 9 times 9, And that's the same thing as 10 nines, take away 1 9. So 10 nines is 90, and I need to take away 1 9, so I know that 1 9 is 9, and I know that 90 minus 9 is 81, so that tells me that 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, let's look at number 3. Matt buys a pack of postage stamps. He counts 9 rows of 4 stamps. He thinks of 10 fours to find the total number of stamps. Show the strategy that Matt might have used to find the total number of stamps. So, if he counts 9 rows of 4 stamps, you need to be thinking in your mind right now that that is the same thing as 9 times 4, because I'm picturing an array, because it said the name rows, and each row had 4 stamps in it. So that's a 9 times 4, and he's thinking of 10 fours. So he's using the strategy that we just worked on, which is changing our 9s into 10s. So using the steps that we just did on A, B, C, and D, I want you to show me, what is he thinking? What is he thinking when he's saying 9 rows of 4? He's thinking of 10 fours. So I want you to take the steps that we just did in A, B, C, and D and show me the strategy that he used to find out how many stamps there were in all. So I want you to push pause whenever you do that. Okay, on this one, there is a tape diagram, and you didn't have to draw a tape diagram, but it just shows his thinking, to where at first he has 9 rows of 4, which is the same thing as 9 groups of 4, and he just added one more 4 to change it to 10 fours. And we know that that is the same thing as 9 fours and doing 10 fours minus 1 4. So now we had to figure out what this was. What is 10 fours minus 1 4? And that gives us 40 minus 4, and we know that that's 36. So we know that the answer to 9 times 4 was 36. So to answer it in a complete sentence, we say Matt bought 36 postage stamps. Okay, on the next page of the problem set, you're going to be using the airplanes to draw lines to the correct place on the problem. So for the first one, 3 times 9, you've got to draw a line to where it goes. 45 divided by 9, you've got to draw a line to where it goes. So use the strategies that we just learned for our 9s to help you solve those equations. And whenever you're ready, push play to check all of your answers for that page. So 3 times 9 went to 27. 9 times 9 went to 81. 8 times 9 went to 72. 9 times 4 went to 36. And 2 times 9 went to 18. And on all of these, I hope you thought of 2 times 10. I hope you thought of 10 times 4. I hope you thought of 8 times 10. And I hope you thought of 10 times 9. And on the top, I hope you thought of 3 times 10. Just changing your 9s to 10s to help you solve it. Over here, 45 divided by 9 went to 5. 9 divided by 9 went to 1. 90 divided by 9 went to 10. 72 divided by 9 went to 8. And 54 divided by 9 went to 6. Okay, so you're going to complete the exit slip now. Number 1 says each cube has a value of 9. Complete the equations to find the total value of the tower of blocks. That's just using the distributive property like we normally do. Just notice that this is a darker shaded than this, so you can tell that they're breaking apart this whole thing into this many 9s and then into this many 9s. And you're going to complete the steps right here to do that. And then you'll have to move on to number 2, where it says Hector solves 9 times 8 by subtracting 1 8 from 10 eighths. Draw a model and explain his strategy. So when you draw a model on this part of the exit slip, go ahead and use a tape diagram like that was on your problem set, and use the steps that we did on the tape diagram to solve it using the tens fact. When you're done with it, make sure you bring that to me.